but apparently
Hey,
they're
check.
starting to. There you go.
Look at
Nice.
that. Not
Hey, check.
Very good. There you go.
yeah, but
Good
and
evening,
welcome
everybody.
back. Hey,
How are ya?
what a beautiful day today, Mike.
Yeah.
I mean, Holta was out fishing with Michael Dawson. I was out with Alice Trotman, one of my students, one of my clients, and Ron. And I mean, it was, the weatherman, it was almost flat calm the whole
Really?
day.
Wow.
Yeah.
We had winds here.
Well, it's funny. When I got to my house, it was
Mhm.
blowing like crazy, but on the water, it was
Just flat.
flat calm, just flat.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Just happened to catch a nice little doldrum out there, but yeah, it kind of picked up about 8:30, 9 o'clock this morning, and it's been blowing ever since. It's kind of calmed down now, but yeah, it's looks like we're going to be in for another couple of days of wind too. Getting tired of it. Getting tired of it.
Okay. Well, now we got that front again,
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going to happen, but I mean, at least today, that the mackerel bite was unreal. I mean, we never moved from this spot. I was sitting in 5 feet of water,
Mhm.
and I mean, all the mackerel were over 20 inches. We had one that was 16, 17.
Yeah.
Everything else was over 20 to the
Wow.
fork.
Wow.
I mean, it was beautiful, just
Were you
beautiful.
using lures or?
No. Now Ron was using gotcha plug. He was catching
Mhm.
them on that, but we were using white bait.
Oh, were you? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got some white bait down there.
Well, yeah, I knew exactly where to get it. I went up to the barge
Uh-huh.
and gave Dylan $50, and he gave us 2 huge scoops.
Hey, that's a perfect place to get them, man.
Hey, I knew they were going to be there.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew they were going to be there.
That's a guarantee. That's what I liked about Pensacola is you can always find the bait. Just find the boat.
So that was a good part. I knew I could get it,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's kind of nice to be able to pull up and do something like that. We got a bait boat here. Usually shows up late spring during the summer for the most part. Sell some baits out there, but I haven't been to it yet. But it'd be nice to have a couple of those out here doing some white baits for us. But yeah.
But we what's going on? We don't get a break. I mean, it was beautiful today, and then tomorrow we got that little cold front coming in. And like you said, I'm looking at the weather, and it's going to be windy all week. And then next Monday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, I mean, 18 to 29 miles. Come on.
Yeah. Well, it's March. It's that time of year.
I can tell you though, I've noticed that a lot of the captains here are not even fishing around Tampa Bay. That they're going down to Fort DeSoto and all that to catch some fish. I was looking today, and where I was at, I mean, I could see Wheaton Island and all that, and I think I saw 2 boats fishing Wheaton Island. Nobody else was fishing Wheaton Island.
Yeah.
There's just nothing. You go in there, and it's nothing. I mean, it's like all of it. Nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
Well, it's that transition period. It's kind of they're kind of backing off and coming up and backing off depending on how many fronts we get through and all this wind. So it's that transition period, and it's going to be kind of hit and miss until the weather kind of stabilizes a little bit more and we start getting some nor nice calm winds and decent tides and all that fun stuff. It's kind of been a
Well, I just think Tampa Bay is just getting whacked so hard. It's been whacked
yeah.
so hard that it's just it's not. How can I say it? It's not the fish because a lot of these guys are going to Fort DeSoto where they are catching some fish down there.
Mhm.
But Wheaton Island area, I mean, it's slow. I mean, except for the mackerel because they're pelagic, and they're in there. But anything that you normally would catch along the mangroves and all that, it's been slow.
Really?
I'm not telling you somebody doesn't catch a redfish or a snook
Yeah,
once in a
yeah.
while, but I mean, yeah, overall it's slow.
It's been a slow bite up here. You have to have a lot of patience and just stick to your guns and what you know, and just wait it out a little bit, because most of the bites that we've got, and are normally you get redfish, snook, or whatever else like that. You're fishing an area, it's 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. Now it's 15, 20, almost 30 minutes before you get another bite. So it's slow, and you just have to be patient. And that's just what seems to be working. I mean, it's difficult to be patient when you've got a 4-hour charter and you got to get fish in the boat, and you have to wait 20 minutes to a half hour for one bite. It's a little annoying, but it just seems to be what's working right now.
Yeah, I mean, you got to do what you got to do, but it's like you said. Normally, this time of the year, I mean, we're so close to April that Wheaton Island used to get hot. I mean, there would be redfish already, tons of redfish, a lot of snook, and I went to my trout spot Saturday. We did the same thing. We tore up the mackerel, same spot
Yeah.
I went to today. And then from there, the last 30 minutes, I said, I got to try this other spot that I got that's got this tall, like sargassum grass growing and about
Right.
6 feet of water. And this time of the year, and it's a rocky bottom. I always catch big trout there.
Yeah.
Not one bite. Today, we stopped there the last 30 minutes, one little trout.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah.
was it. I
Yeah.
don't know. And this is an area that normally produces extremely well for us.
Yeah. Well, I've been on trout on a place down south of here, and it's been consistent. We're catching nice, decent trout all the time. And I went there Sunday, and one little dink. That
So I don't know.
was it. Got some black drum, but the trout yeah. So, hey, Josh, hey, Alvaro, Jessica, everybody kind of showed up. Yeah, Jessica, I had on Friday myself, but we're going to see how that works. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Let me go here to, here we go. Yeah, I had to switch to the Facebook one so I can, there you go. We got Jessica, Josh, David, Alejandro,
Yeah, where's
Donald?
Donald, yes.
Yeah, well, where's Donald?
I know. He's usually
the
first one to say, hey.
That's right. Where's Donald? And Ken Burke is not on there. My God.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. They're sleeping in today.
Yeah. No, I think what it is, as well as you're saying, where we're expecting to fish, is we're anxious. I think that may be the thing too. We're anxious. We're saying, well, the weather looks good. It should be right. And, the fish are just going to show up when they normally show up. We're anxious to get them out there and start catching a bunch of fish, tired of this cold weather.
But, and today really, it was really nice. It was a little chilly in the morning, but by 9 o'clock, took the jacket off, was on a t-shirt the whole day. And like I said, it was hardly just, I don't want to say there was any wind, but the tide was terrible. We had like this slow outgoing tide. In 2.5 hours, it went down 2 inches. But at least it wasn't a negative tide or a real low tide. Low tide was a 1.2. When we started at 9 o'clock, it was 1.4, and 11 o'clock, it was 1.2. So it went 2 inches in about 3 hours or so,
Yeah. Yeah. Jessica's saying that, this weekend's going to be interesting, no doubt. Probably going to be rescheduling some trips again. But Yeah, she's having the same thing down there in Chaz areas. You know, one or two fish here or there, and having to move to a spot, set up, and maybe get another one or two, and then move to another spot. And that's been the pattern. I mean, it's a run and gun pattern. You just sit there for a little bit, hopefully get a couple spots. You just keep moving. You
That's
know,
all.
that's all you can do. I mean, you just can't sit on a place and catch a bunch of fish like you normally do. I mean, I spooked out a big school Sunday. And unfortunately, my trap was there, and I didn't. I fished it a little bit before I got in my trap, and because normally there's a few fish around it, because I've got the trap there, it kind of attracts a little bit, and they just weren't where I thought they would be. And then I turned the corner to go to my trap, and I spooked at least 50 fish, and I was like, "Oh, son of a-"
Wow.
If I would have just waited just a little bit more and pitched it around that corner, I might have done well. But, I kind of screwed it up there.
Well, I can tell you that Saturday, the water temperature had dropped from the previous week. It was down to 67,
Mhm.
which is about almost 7 degrees, 8 degrees.
Yeah,
Now today it was 70. It went up about 2.5 degrees.
yeah.
And and again, like I said, if it wasn't for the mackerel, I think the bite would have been slow around Tampa.
Mhm.
And I mean, yeah, we would have caught probably a few redfish, maybe a few here and there, but it's not like I'd expect it this time of the year. This is kind of like the
Yeah.
break month, you know?
Yeah. I know it's been a weird winter, and I think it just continues to be that way. And we're just, like I said, we're kind of anticipating that, the fish bite and everything should be good because everything seems to be right. But, if the temp ain't right, the wind ain't right, and all that, the fish are just going to say, no, we're not ready just yet. And
Yeah, but
they know,
we're not
they know
ready.
more than we do. They're a little smarter than we are sometimes. So,
If not the way they want it, they don't have to bite. They can get lockjaw. And
yeah.
and by the way, I called Lisa back. She thought I
Oh,
was supposed to call her back. So then she says, "Okay, let's talk this afternoon." I never talked to her.
okay.
So have you heard anything at all at your end about CCA?
No, I have not. I have not either.
I said it's so quiet out there. I mean, there's
Yeah,
not nothing.
no. It Something kind of came up this week, and we talked about it last month before, something like that. The pilot program down there in Sarasota. Well, guess what? Citrus County has decided
What,
they're looking to doing it as well,
charging you to?
urging charter captains to use county public ramps. Buy a medallion type thing or lottery ticket type thing, estimating starting cost at about $1,200 a year to use public ramps because they say the congestion is there, which honestly,
Well, make more ramps. You got the money.
I've been to the public ramps, and there's more problems with the public ramps than just the charter captains hogging up a dock. And honestly, most of the charter captains that I've seen out there or anything else like that that are local here really don't do that. I think it's some out of town ones that may do it a little bit more, but they're talking about parking and everything else like that. Well, they've had these boat ramps, two public ramps. That's all we have in Crystal River. I mean, you have Peace Pier. Sorry, you do have Peace Pier, so there's three. But Peace Pier gets filled up so quick, and there's no parking. And then the middle ramp, Fort Island Trail, there's not enough parking. And then the end final Fort Island Trail, there's no parking. So the thing is, they're going to blame it on the charter captains for blocking up ramps and everything else like that and taking parking spaces. But they don't have enough parking spaces. When you got during the summertime, during our scallop season, which is the biggest thing here in Homosassa as well, you've got 3 or 4 ramps that thousands of boats have to use. What's the real problem here? So,
well, Mike, don't
be,
they have money from the government? Don't they get money from the fishing, from the all this stuff to build more ramps, more docks, more parking?
well,
Where's the money going? See, this is what worries me. I
that's
look at
what worries
our
us.
area.
Uh-huh.
I look at Hillsborough County. Okay, there's money there, but all I can see is, oh, they're building an extension to the downtown boardwalk. Oh, 2 years ago they built a third park in downtown Tampa. 3 parks in downtown Tampa. All right.
Yeah.
And they couldn't, and the last one they built, I think, was $36 million. That would have gone a long way to making that Gandy boat ramp twice as big with
Correct.
3 times the amount of parking and have money left over.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
you know, the other thing is, so what's going to happen? Tell me, so what's going to happen? And I want people's input on this, Jessica and everybody else that's listening. What's going to happen to captains if this goes through? Because you're talking about a lottery. That means they're only going to allow 50 captains, let's say, to use the ramp, and it's on a lottery. So if you don't get picked, you don't get to go there. But the number 2 is, if you get picked, they're going to charge you $100 or $200 a month to use the ramp. Well, that's not right.
No. And again, this is government overreach. And to me, it is a hindrance to small businesses. It's a hindrance. Not only that, we pay already anybody in the county who uses public ramps, whether it be freshwater, saltwater, we pay a yearly fee. And the good thing is, for this direction here, the local residents pay a yearly fee, and it's relatively small. To use any boat ramp, you have to use the app. You have to put in your license tag information, all that stuff, and you get charged yearly, which I still do because, I mean, I use a ramp at my port there, but I also use other ramps around the county, so I pay it every year. And that is the money that was supposed to go there was supposed to go toward improvements of the ramps and everything else like that. Well, that's been 4 or 5 years now, maybe longer. There's no improvements. So where is that money going? And again, they're not getting that full amount of every person that uses that because they're using another third-party company to take all the money, to do the cameras, to do all the upkeep to it. So there's only a portion that they're getting, but still, where is the improvements? Where is the expansions? Where is it? There is none. There's no accountability for it, and that's kind of, it kind of aggravates me.
So what's going to happen to you guys up where you're at? If you said they're thinking about it, or they're going to do it, or
they're talking about it right now, and so hopefully I'm gonna find out when these meetings are. I'm going to get a bunch of our group members, hopefully some captains who want to get involved, and we need to show our voice out there because Sarasota, when they did it, they had a meeting with the captains out there, and they did it anyway.
Oh yeah, I mean, if they have a meeting, it's just to say, hey, we let you give us a voice, but they got their mind already made up.
So my thought is, and I was afraid of this, and I think I mentioned it the last time when I saw them there, because whenever they say pilot program, I can guarantee this is probably going to go all over Florida. Every county is going to take this.
Oh yeah.
And the thing is, now you're stifling small businessmen who are just trying to support their families and everything else like that to do it. And again, it's $1,200, but in Sarasota's county, it'd be $1,200 up to $5,000, and it's a sealed bid, so you can't tell what you're putting in there. But for a one-man operation who maybe only does it part-time or not a full-time guide at the time, $1,200 is a lot of money to put out your pocket for one little time.
Right.
There's no guarantee you're getting it back. But then you start to say, well, hey, the bigger companies, they could easily, with 5 or 6 boats, no problem. They have no problem with it because they have the income coming in and everything else like that. So they're, and I get it. There are 2 sides to it, and I understand trying to eliminate businesses that are not in the county, who are not paying the taxes, who are not doing things like that, using these ramps and then blocking things up and all that. I get that.
Well, I could see if you weren't in that county, if you had to pay extra to use the ramp, but don't charge somebody like yourself. Now, what happens if you don't get picked on this lottery deal?
That's a good question, because at that point you can't use any public ramps to do any business.
Do you think you think there'd be you can take them to court and say, hey, you're infringing on my
It's
my
possible.
ability to make
I mean,
a living, what you're doing
it's
to
quite
me is,
possible. I wouldn't doubt that something like that might come up, um, because there's an infringement on the ability to, our freedoms here, to have your own business and to go there. And yeah, there's regulations and you have to have your licenses and this and that, but mostly everybody does. But I don't know the total solution, but I don't think the solution just by start charging people money. We've already been charged money, and has been nothing changed since they charged us money to use the ramps previously. So what's the difference? You're going to
yeah,
just
in other
charge
words,
more money for nothing? That doesn't
have you
make
seen,
sense.
have you seen a lot of improvements on the ramps after they started charging you for it?
No,
No. So that's why.
it's the
So
same
where's that
docks.
money going? What scares me is that a lot of times you'll get that money and put it in a general fund
Correct.
pot. And then the guy says, well, don't worry about it. We don't need to take care of the ramp. Let's use that money for, oh yeah, you know what? Their pet peeve. Let's put this new little road over here or this
Mhm.
new little thing over here. We can use that money.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, the Fort Island Trail ones. Now the other one at Pete's is more in the city of Crystal River, so I think that's governed more by the city than it is the county. But they did the improvements in Yankeetown boat ramp, but that's Levy County. So then you got Homosassa, which only has a couple of boat ramps down there, and those are more on private land than anything, and they're kind of governed by those businesses that are there. So, and there's not a lot of parking there, but it's limited area that you can do there in Homosassa. But I do know there's a couple other ramps as well. But the problem is there's not enough thinking ahead to the fact that it's not just our county that uses these ramps. You've got Ocala, you've got Gainesville, you've got Newport Richey, you've got Tampa, you've got Brooksville, you've got Spring Hill. These people come here, and you have not thought in any way, shape, or form to advance the ramps or the parking in any way, shape, or form to adjust for this, because we're growing. Crystal River's growing,
Oh yeah.
and it's not going to get any better. So the solution is to punish the businesses? It doesn't make sense.
And I guess they're saying, well, maybe they want to make more room for the everyday guy and get rid of the commercial guy. But hey, everybody has a right to make a living.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think that's infringing on your rights to make a living if they won't give you a permit, if you don't get picked to use the ramp.
Right.
And on
Right.
top of that is, I don't even know if they really could have the right, if you really took them to court, about charging you a ridiculous amount because you're a commercial guy.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, there's got to be a solution, and I do agree with some of what they're saying about the other businesses that come in that have don't have the right licensing or don't have the right permits or the business license in the county and stuff. I totally on board with you there. I get it, because it happens. There's seasonal things here, especially scallop season. I get it. I'm totally on board with you. And it hurts the local businesses who count on that. But there's got to be a better solution than charging the local people who use this and pay taxes and upkeep and everything else about the ramps. There's got to be a better solution. So I just don't know. But it's the thing that they're looking at, and I think it's something we all need to pay attention to, because if it did it in Sarasota, and now the other counties are paying attention because it's money that could be brought to them. So that's a little bit ticked off about it.
I see Misty and Jessica, they had their comments on that nothing's getting done.
Yeah. 4 years charging ramp fees, not even clear repairs. Oh, where's the money going? What have they done? Exactly. That's the questions we have. And now you're going to start charging businesses and only give out a certain amount. You're going to start charging them thousands of dollars for what?
But that could really hurt a small guy trying to make a living.
Very
The first
much
thing
so.
is you got to get picked. That's number one. And then if you get picked, can you afford it?
Mhm.
I mean,
Exactly.
what makes them not say, well, hey, next year we're going to charge $1,800 a year?
Exactly. And there's again, there's no regulation to it. It's just we're going to give you this, and this is what you're gonna pay between this amount and this amount, possibly. You have no idea what the other guy paid or what, and then so you have to put in a bid to just kind of figure out. Well, is $3,500 enough for me to get it? But it's not a
Okay,
guarantee.
is it a bid, or is it like a raffle, or how do they do it?
It's a bid. So
Oh,
of
so
course,
you
who's
got
going
to
to get
bid
the
how
bid
much you're willing
first?
to pay, how much you're willing to pay to use the ramp?
Correct. That's the way I read it in the Sarasota side. So that doesn't make any sense. Well, of course, everybody's going to bid $5,000, but the small guy who's only doing this 3 or 4 times a week or whatever else like that, and don't really have the income that's coming in. It's a small business, part time, retired, whatever. He doesn't have just $5,000 to sit there and just throw out for just to use a ramp.
You might as well put it in a marina. You might as well put the boat in a marina. But then the marinas are going. You know what they're going to do? Oh, I know some marinas now are not letting you rent, put your boat in there if you're commercial.
That's correct.
Did you know that?
Yep.
I know a couple of marinas have limited to how many commercial guys can keep their boat at the marina.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that several of them have said, okay, we can only allow up to 8 commercial guys out of our marina to keep the boat here. The rest has got to be open to everybody else, but not commercial guys, not captains.
Right.
So I think they're kind of picking on the poor captains, man.
Yeah, and again, I don't want to make quick judgments on it. I want to hear both sides of it and try to figure out exactly where they're coming from on this. But to me, the way I read Sarasota and everything that was there, and again, it's a pilot program, and things can always change and hopefully improve. But what's the real angle? What's the whole point of this? And where is that money going? And will it be improvements for more ramps? And then once you do more ramps, will you remove those restrictions? So, which you and I know, government never removes restrictions; they just make more.
Oh, and the thing is, they can't enforce what they got now.
Correct. So, and that was the other thing. How are you going to enforce this? I mean, you're going to have somebody standing at the ramp every day, making sure you have a medallion that you can launch there. Well, I know, anybody who's got a sign in their boat's going to take all the signs off their boat and say they're private and go from there. Oh yeah, I got some friends showing up. Yeah. I don't know that it's going to make a big of a difference. So again, we'll do some more research, and I know this is going to be a long process to deal with, but we'll. I'm going to try to reach out to the county commissioners and try to talk with them, sit down and kind of figure out what this whole deal is, because because
I tell you what's going to happen, Mike. If this thing in Sarasota is working, and then Citrus, all these other areas are going to say, hey, here's another way to make more money.
Yep.
Let's do it ourselves.
Yeah, so you're going to have the whole state of Florida, any boat ramps, commercial people can't do it. You're going to have to either go to a marina, and you're going to pay at a marina, or you're going to pay here and there. And maybe that's their whole concept is, hey, you're paying at a marina, maybe you should pay someplace else. But I have an issue with it, because to me, it's just overreach on a public ramp. Taxes are paid for.
We already pay for the use of the ramp. It comes out of our money.
And nobody complains about the guy who's got their puts down their pontoon boat or whatever boat and sits there for half hour, 45 minutes while waiting on another family who's walking a mile down the street, who has had to park that way with 12 coolers and 6 other people waiting to get down to the ramp. He's holding it up. What's the difference? It doesn't make sense. But, hey. Because I've been in their shoes, and I get it. Having to use public ramps to run a business. I've been in their shoes. I did it in Pensacola. You didn't have a problem up there. Plenty of parking. Nobody had an issue with it. In fact, a lot of people liked the fact that they had some charter captains there, because they could sit there and talk to them and figure out what was going on.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I've been on both sides of the coin, and I understand it, but we'll dive into it a little bit more, and it's going to take some time.
Because, for example, something that just came to mind, all these tournaments that we have out of Tampa, Gandy, starting next month, every Friday, Gandy Boat Ramp is going to have 40, 50 captains launching out of there
Right.
for these tournaments.
So,
now, that takes up all the parking. So
Yeah.
if they come down with something like this, where are all these captains going to go?
Right.
I mean, if they do it there, that around it, that's the only place around here. You got to go to Fort DeSoto and do it. But are you going to come from Fort DeSoto all the way up to Hula Bay, upper Tampa Bay to pick up people?
Yeah.
Man, you got to be nuts. You'll kill your own gas because you got to come up here, you got to fish, everything, go back down there. That's a 50-mile round trip. You're going to burn 25, 30 gallons of fuel.
Yeah.
So look at the added
and hope the weather doesn't turn on you.
Oh, yeah. And if the weather turns on you, you really got a problem.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know, but I think it's something that we need to kind of pay attention to in the community of fishermen and captains that, it doesn't sound right to me. There's got to be something better. And I don't know that anybody's thinking about it. So I don't know. I don't like it.
All right. Well, listen, let's do Tony Franklin.
Sure. Sounds good.
All right, Captain Tony Franklin back with you once again with this week's fishing report. We've had quite a different variation of weather this week. It was cooler beginning of the week and warmed up a little bit in the afternoons, but towards the end of the week, today is Sunday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the fishing picked up. When the full cold front first came through, the fish were a little lethargic. This week we've had some mackerel. Even though the water temperature is cool, we had some mackerel move in on the flats. So we've catching some mackerel this week. Once again, silver trout, some nice spotted sea trout. We are catching some redfish, still not any large ones this week, but that'll change as we get in farther into spring and early summer. There's been bonnethead sharks out for action. Once again, jack crevalles. There's been ladyfish. We have caught a few snook this week, but they were on the smaller side. Actually catching some mangrove snapper also. So been a big variety of fish out here, even though the weather keeps constantly changing. So you just got to make adjustments. Mostly been using shrimp this week, but that'll change with the water temperature and weather as it starts to get warmer and warmer during the week. So anyway, there's a lot of action out there. Get out there, catch you some fish, tight lines, and I'll see you next week.
Hey, thank you, Tony. Yeah. Like I said, I don't know if it don't look like the water temperature is going to change with this little front, because I looked at the weather. It's going to be in the 80s almost all week. So
I think it's going to be a wind thing with us. I don't think it may dry us out a little bit, but I don't think it's going to make us any colder than we have.
It's just going to make it tough to fish because the wind is what kills you.
Yeah, but that we've had this high pressure that's been sitting over us for a very long time now, and that's what's creating all this wind. And it hasn't. There's been nothing big enough to push it off, and that's what's going to be another thing. We're going to have this low pressure come in, create a little wind, but it's actually just feeding the high pressure that's kind of sitting out there. So until this high pressure moves off far enough away from us, I think the fishing is going to be tough, because that barometric pressure being high is what kind of shuts down the fish a little bit. So yeah, it's going to take some time.
Now, have you heard anything yet? Somebody said they heard a little bit of kingfish around Sarasota. Have you heard anything about the kingfish yet?
No, not yet. Haven't heard anything about kingfish yet. I think it's coming. It's coming soon, though. Within another week or two, usually we get some reports. But
usually April Fool's Day, they're here.
Yeah. Haven't heard anything about it yet. Like I said, the mackerel are in. I've seen a few sea turtles in. So it's close. It's close. That's why I'm thinking we're so anxious for things to be turned on right now, and we're not patient enough to let it nature take its course. But
because I mean, to me, ideal is right when you start hitting 72 to 74 degree water temperature on a steady. That's good kingfish. They get motivated. and they start working their way up the coast.
Right.
So let's see. But today it was 70. Like I said, Saturday was 67.2, 0.3, and it was up in the 70s about a week ago. And that
Yeah.
cold front just knocked it all out.
Yeah, we had 77 up here before the cold front. Now we're
Yeah.
lower 70s now. So
Yeah. So I think part of the problem too with the bite was it's the fish are taking a shock. One day they get up and it's 75, 70 degrees, and the next morning it's 69, 68.
Yeah.
They say, what the heck is going on?
Yeah, because the bite was good before this front. I mean, we were getting good numbers of trout, good numbers of reds. Again, it was still kind of run and gun, but you still got your reds and the snook. You could find them. They weren't in big schools or anything else like that, but you could find them. And now it's tough to get just a few bites a day. So it'll come. Yeah, we'll be patient, and then pretty soon we're going to be complaining it's so freaking hot.
It's just so hot, yeah. and then we'll be talking about the heat.
Yeah, we'll be complaining about the heat. But that's just what we do around here.
Oh man, I'm telling you. But other than that, I mean, I was shocked. I didn't realize how much wind we were going to have, and because I was thinking, boy, next Monday I wanted to do a thing about how to chum for bait and catch the bait. I figured, well, the bait's starting to move in, and then I looked at the weather, and it's calling for the Tampa Bay area. They're calling 18 to 29 mile an hour winds next Monday.
Yeah.
I said, well, definitely they ain't going to be time to catch bait.
No. Because I want to do a little video myself and with the net, and just haven't been able to because of the winds and everything else. I can't get out there and chum anything up because you can't see it for one. What was it, Thursday? I mean, it was just blowing like stink, and my trolling motor was on high, and we were back in the creeks. Thing was just on high, just trying to keep us still. So it was not easy.
Yeah. Well, what I want to do is get the kid, that guy Nick Nappy, from the cast nets, and get him out and start showing people how to chum, how to throw the net, catch the bait, and everything else. And I thought it'd make a good show, and then go fishing.
Yeah.
But with 18 to 30 mile an hour winds, you can't. You try to get a fairly decent day, because on the flats you got to be able to see things.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. Well, maybe we could do that when I'm down there Memorial Day week or so. Because I'll be down there Fort DeSoto for that week. So maybe we can try to figure something out then.
Yeah. Oh, you got to go camping again.
Yeah, and do it every year with my friends. Bring my boat down, have some fun. It's a good time. It's one of my one time a year. I take several days off in a row and just unplug, and I love it every time. So
and it's well deserved. But all right, well, let's get Pam Worth in. She got us a fishing report this week.
Been a while for Pam. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I'm in one of my favorite spots in Steinhatchee, pre-fishing for a redfish tournament. I ran into a school of these boys. Look at the size of them. What a great fight. I'm going to tell you. If it was Joe Commodi's saltwater kayak tournament, this fish would be okay to weigh in. Let me get him back in the water. Pretty cool, right? Hello, welcome to another edition. This is your kayak angler, Pam Worth. The redfish bite has just been off the hook. This is one of my favorite times for redfish, and artificials, they're just hitting them like crazy. My favorite is a fluke with an owner's twist lock hook. I've got some photos here from James Aldridge, also on the West Coast. He likes to throw a paddle tail. And also I've got Keith Smith, and his favorite lures are down south lures. And finally, I have Captain Chris Dunning with Spot On Charters. He also is throwing a lot of down south lures. So look into that and have a great time. And yeah, check out the fish that I just landed yesterday.
All right.
Thanks.
Hey, I tell you, she loves that kayak, man.
Yeah, she's just traveling everywhere with the tournaments and stuff. Yeah, she's doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm glad because she's a very nice person and she deserves it,
yeah, she
And
does.
funny, her husband is a golfer. He does nothing to do with fishing. Nothing.
Really?
Nothing.
Yeah. Well, your vacations are easy. I'm gonna go fish. You go golf. We're good.
Hey, we got it made. Well, I'll tell you what, because we got a lot of fishing reports. Let's get Michael Dawson.
Sounds good.
Hi guys, Captain Michael Dawson here, Patriot Guide Service. Out here today of Hota. Out here catching some fish, bunch of trout, got some nice snook on the boat. Hunting for some redfish, kind of slow right now for the redfish, but it's a pretty good week out here, finally warming up. Water temperature's up to 72 degrees where we're sitting right now, and it's been pretty good. Lots of trout towards the mouth of the Anclote River. Check around any of the deep holes towards the Anclote River right now. Plenty of snook in those same little areas. Big white bait seem to be the key. The bigger the bait, the better. This morning, all the fish were eating on some bobbers out there, but we're catching them on a little bit of just everything out there. Bobbers, split shots, free line. Just kind of get those bait where those fish are at, and they'll start eating. Later in the day seems to be a lot better for them. Earlier in the morning, it was still a little cool. They're a little slower. Later in the day we get, the better they're getting. Offshore, lots of kingfish showing up, cobia showing up out there. As it warms up, it's just going to get better and better. We got some wind coming in the next couple days, so once that wind dies down, get out there, start looking around for the bait pods, and you'll see some kingfish out there. Captain Michael Dawson, Patriotic Guide Service.
All right, thank you, Michael.
Yeah. So
Did you see Holt on the
man with the
background?
thumbs up in the background there. That is our producer hooked up, and he got out there and did some fishing, and that's pretty cool. So that's
but Michael
behind-the-scenes
said that wasn't his fish. That was his buddy's fish.
Yeah, well, still, but he's out there fishing. So yeah, nobody really gets to see the guy behind the camera and behind all the works, and that's our man Hota.
That was Hota, man. He got it. He did it.
That's great. So
I think everybody had a good time. Saturday, oh my God, because the weather was so nice at the marina. It was so. When I left, they were just starting to get busy. When I got back in at about 1:00, it was a madhouse there.
oh, I bet.
I mean, I found a place to dock. I was going to leave the boat in the water for today because I figured, okay, just plug it in. And they said, do you mind if we take it out of the water and take it inside? We'll plug it inside, for the trolling
Right.
motor because I used it a lot. And then we'll just put you back at 8:00. As soon as you get here, you'll have the boat in the water Monday morning. I said, yeah, that's fine with me. I'd rather not leave it in the water. But
Right.
they needed all the space they could do. I mean, everybody decided to go out this week, this weekend,
Yeah, it was nice. I was actually surprised Sunday. I know Saturday was busy. I was out there doing some manatee tours on Saturday, and it was just packed. But I was early morning, and it was still packed. By the time I left, there was just no parking anywhere. But Sunday, I was really surprised out there. I only saw just a few boats, and it was better Sunday than it was Saturday as far as weather-wise. And it really wasn't packed out there. I was really anticipating a lot of boats, but it was pretty quiet up here in Crystal River. I only saw a few, my buddies, guides, friends out there and all that, but it was gorgeous Sunday. God, it was so good. And it looked like Mike had some nice weather there. You guys definitely had some calm winds today down there. Here we were a little blustery, so it's coming for you.
But you know what I found out though? Sometimes as soon as I pulled into my house here, it was blowing.
Mm-hmm.
But I noticed sometimes lately you're out in the water, and it seems to be a lot calmer. And as you get close to shore, you notice the wind picking up, and by the time you get to shore, it's blowing. And I think a lot of it could be the heat draft.
This is true. Yeah, I would think so, because that's one thing that always aggravated me when I lived in Pensacola, because I do some work over there in Mobile Bay, in Mobile, Alabama, and drive back home. And I'd be coming across that bridge in Mobile Bay, and it's just flat calm. And I'm like, oh man, it looks so good. Like, I'm gonna go home and do some fishing, because I get home about noon, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, thinking I'm gonna put the boat up and go. Time I got to Pensacola, it was blowing 15, 20 miles an hour. Like, oh, it's aggravating because you go across this long 5-mile bridge across Mobile Bay, and it's just flat, calm, and it looks so beautiful, and it's nice weather. And you get home, and it's just blowing like anything. So, yeah, it happens, in some places where you get nice, calm areas, and then others it's windier and all get out. But it's kind of frustrating.
Well, you could see it this morning when we left the marina. It was just hardly a little ripple, and when we got towards the end of Port Tampa, it looked like glass.
Yeah.
In the middle of the bay. I said, oh, it's going to be a good day.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. That's good.
All right. Well, let's get Niles' fishing report from Steinhatchee.
Sounds good.
Hey, this is Niall Bryant with Sweet Paradise Charters here in Steinhatchee, Florida, with this week's fishing report for Steinhatchee, Florida. Fishing this past week has been kind of hit or miss with the cold front that we had come through on Tuesday. It pretty much put a stop to the bite Tuesday and Wednesday, and each day's gotten a little better since then. So Saturday was an okay day for some trout and redfish. Today ran a charter, did very well on trout, redfish, flounder, and Spanish mackerel. Actually had some trout that was between 18 19 inches and a couple nice redfish. So we did most of these with slow jigging flukes on the bottom and paddle tails. And we also did under some corks today with about a foot of line on a 16-ounce lead head, fishing with some saltwater assassin, watermelon slice, paddle tails, and we also used a little bit of cut bait today. So did very well. So I look forward to the next few weeks. The Steinhatchee is going to pick up with its water temperature back to where it should be. Last week we lost 20 degrees. And again, that really just kind of put a halt to the bite. So the sheephead bite is very strong right now in Steinhatchee and the offshore reefs, 18 to 20 miles out. The big females are in, and they'll be here until the next full moon, which is around April 3rd, and then they'll be gone. So, but really looking forward to the next few weeks of fishing here in Steinhatchee. It's going to be hot with a hot bite for trout and redfish. So if you're looking for a charter in Steinhatchee, give me a call at 850-443-7335. And again, this is Niall Bryant with Sweet Paradise Charters. Thank you.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Niall.
and one of the things we want to say, Mike, that if you're watching the shows, then you want to support these captains that are taking their time to send us the fishing reports.
Yeah. If you're in those areas, I mean, I spoke with Niall at the Tampa Boat Show and a few times on the phone. I mean, he's a nice guy, knows what he's doing up there, Steinhatchee area, and yeah, it's a excellent fishery up there. And if you want to give it a shot up there, go for it up there in Steinhatchee. But all of our captains, they work very hard. They give us these reports every week. It can be daunting because the weekend comes around, you've been out on the water and you realize, I got to do a report. And then you got to get that sent in. But we appreciate everybody doing it. And please, if you're watching, call up our captains and give them a shot out there, because guarantee you'll have a good time.
Yeah.
We take the time and talk to these captains and fish with them. And, we know what they're doing. So give them a shot.
Give them a chance. And, well, because we got Jessica's fishing report, so let's get hers, because then we got yours too. So let's get Jessica's.
Hey guys, Captain Jessica Hannebeck with You'll Hook 'em Charters out of Chaskawiska, Florida. So the last 2 weeks we've been fishing pretty low tides, kind of almost in the negatives again. And then this week we had some decent water for once. Last week was a little breezy. Today seems a little breezy. My charter last week, it was blowing pretty good. We did get in some trout. I want to say it was probably a negative 0.3 to a 5. So it was pretty nasty. Did catch some trout, some snapper, and some stuff like that. And we were finding good numbers of schools of reds. Now, I think they're kind of in their transitional phases, so you're finding 1 or 2 here, 1 or 2 there. It's been kind of getting hot, but then we had that cool down, I believe, last week for a couple of days. It's still in like the high 50s at night. I want to say the water temperature is about 70 right now. We've been using shrimp and some mud minnows on a 2-aught circle or a J. I use a split shot number 7. My husband will go a little bit heavier usually than me. But I did get an itch to use my artificial again. So this week I was throwing some Q8 super baits and caught some nice reds and some trouts. I am catching trout still kind of in the back, but I think they're working their way more up to the mouth of the creeks and stuff like that. The next month or so, they should be working more on the flats. So we've been catching some snook as well. But if you'd like to come see beautiful Chaskawiska, book a charter with me at 352-464-7309. Tight lines.
Yep. Thanks, Jessica. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
She does a good job. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna get over there and fish with her for a little bit, but I want to make sure for winds and everything else. So it's just been every time I think about it, oh, I got some time this week to do it, and then the weather turns on you, and it's like, oh, never mind. So
Well, hopefully, like I said, I'm hoping that everything's going to change right after the next week and get some kind of. I just want it to be like it used to be. You had
Normalcy.
one day or two of windy weather, and then you had 5 days that were great.
Yeah.
Well, now you get 1 or 2 days maybe good weather, and 5 days that are terrible.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of been topsy turvy this winter. So hopefully it just stabilizes out, because it gets tiring.
Now, let me ask you a question. I noticed around here now we're starting to catch a lot of pinfish.
Yeah.
If you're using shrimp, you're starting to catch pinfish again.
Right. Yeah. We're starting to catch a few pinfish on some of the shrimp that we're using, but I've already started putting my traps out. I get probably 3 dozen pinfish. I mean, it's not completely full, but I am starting to get some pinfish in the flats. So they are starting to come in. When we're kind of floating shrimp along looking for the trout, we'll get pecked on quite a bit. So they're kind of moving in too, which is usually an indication that the other fish are moving. And in fact, I got most of the reds this Sunday came off of cut pins, so they're starting to feed on them too. So that tells me that their diet's changing. We got more of the bait moving in, and it's coming.
Well, I think I'm going to start putting one of. I got 2 of them. I don't need as many as you, but I'm thinking to go ahead next week, start putting one of them out.
Yeah.
Right there by the marina, and just to have it.
Yeah, it's always good, and it's usually this time when I'll start throwing a trap out there, and it kind of tells me, what the pinfish are in, how many I get, because I know their diet will change. Not only that, you start using shrimp too much, and the pins are there. It doesn't give your bait doesn't have enough chance to sit there long enough for a redfish
to eat it.
else to come by, or trout. So because the pinfish just tear it apart. So it's always good to have that backup. And again, ladyfish, always using ladyfish. So whenever we catch one, it's always goes in the box, get him cold for a little bit, and then start using that, because we're still catching them on some chunks of ladyfish too.
Way to go. All right, now let's get your fishing report.
All right, sounds good.
Fishing is not about catching fish. It's about the memories you make and the people you share them with. The worst day of fishing is better than the best day of work. Fishing is the only sport where even if you don't catch anything, you still win. Fishing is not a destination, it's a journey. Fishing is not about the fish, it's about the moments. Fishing teaches patience and perseverance, to qualities that can benefit every aspect of your life. Fishing is a reminder that the simple things in life can bring the greatest joy. Fishing is not a hobby, it's a way of life. Fishing is not a matter of life and death, it's much more important than that.
Good evening, everybody. Captain Mike Haynes, Fishbones Charters out of Crystal River, Florida. Well, fishing this week's been kind of slow, mainly because of the wind and the cooler temperatures we've had. And not only that, kind of pushed our tides out to where they were about 4 hours difference, especially on Thursday. It was blowing quite a bit. The tide was supposed to be coming in. We kind of timed it with the tide coming in, but it took about 4 more hours before the tide finally turned around to come in. So the winds and the cold kind of hindered the bite just a little bit. We still caught some redfish. Really couldn't find the trout all that great last week on Thursday. Yesterday we went out. Obviously the winds were down. It was nice, bright and sunny, but we still have these bluebird skies out here, so the pressure is really high, which kind of knocks the bite down a little bit. So we ended up just kind of fishing a little slower, taking our time, fishing a lot of points away from the mangroves, especially at lower tide. Once that high tide hit, the bite just completely shut off. More than likely, these fish are kind of going up into the mangroves, kind of hanging out, feeding on the inside there because they haven't been able to get into the mangroves too much in the wintertime. So as soon as that tide went up, the fish kind of disappeared, bite kind of shut off. So right now during this transition period, I'm fishing the lows on the incoming. So that way I can get those fish that are out away from the mangroves, on the points, on some of those areas where you've got a lot of mullet, tends to be the biggest ticket. The trout bite is kind of slowed as well, and I'm not sure exactly what it is, whether they push way back into the creeks again and haven't made it back out to the flats, but trout have kind of been a hit or miss. We're catching a few small ones, but nothing major. But like I said, just kind of concentrate on points, concentrate on the rocky areas where you see a lot of mullet, and soak the baits. Most of our bites took about 10-15 minutes before we got a bite, and we just kind of threw it out there using chunk baits, either ladyfish or a cut pin fish. Seems to be the better bite that they're honing in on, because they're kind of lazy. The bite just really isn't that hard, so it's very, very slow. So just kind of soak them a little bit. That's what seemed to work for us. Got a nice 31 inch for a couple. I got some twins on the boat yesterday. Never did saltwater fishing. Never really threw a spinning rod or anything else like that. So it was kind of a teaching moment for them. Got them to understand what they needed to do. Threw it out there. Kind of set the rods in the rod holders and just kind of waited. And about 15-20 minutes, we'd start to get a bite. And it seemed to be that progression all day. But for his first fish, the 31 inch red was not bad. He enjoyed that. We caught a few more reds and then some black drum. And we did, like I said, catch some trout, but it was it was a long, tedious bite to get them to go. And when we did, most of them were short anyway, but had a good day of it anyway. So just look for the transition. Later this week's probably going to be better to get out there, let that water warm up and get these fish acclimated to this new temperature, another transition that they're having to do. And hopefully this is the last cold front. But if you want to come out, the fishing, like I said, we're doing still pretty good. It's just a little slow, and it's just going to get better. But give me a call if you want, and come on out and have some fun. Captain Mike Haynes, Fishbones Charters out of Crystal River, Florida. We'll talk with you later.
Now, what was that beginning?
Well, I was playing with a bit, and I guess I sent Hota the wrong one, but I was playing with a video that I do on my social media, and apparently I sent the one with the background talking there instead of just the video of it, because I want to do the video of him releasing his big redfish, but it works out.
All right, well, we got to give Hota some glory. So Hota, put a couple of the pictures of those fish you caught today. Put them up on the screen, man.
Put them up on the screen. See if you can do it real quick.
Let's see if we can get it done. There you go.
There you go.
Now, who's that? Who caught that fish? That wasn't Hota.
No.
This is my friend. My friend.
That's your friend. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
It's the same team.
No, that's the same thing. That's his fish. It's not your fish.
Yeah.
All right, show me the next one. Where's the next fish? Actually, that guy almost looks like me. Where's the next fish, Hota? There you go.
There you go.
There you
This
go.
is me.
there
Now
you
I
go.
know that's you. Yeah, we could tell
Yeah,
that's
that's
you.
Hota. There you go. It's a nice trout. Did you take them home, Hota?
Yep.
Yeah. There you go.
took it home.
Good deal.
All right.
Well, it's nice to get you some fish out there, Hota.
And that's the snook that you caught. That's not the same one as the other one.
It's a small one.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, good job. You did
It's
really
a
good.
small one.
Yeah. And there's
Well,
Michael
good. Looks
Dawson
like you
with
got a
trout.
nice box full in there, though. All trout. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, he doesn't get
Well,
to participate when
now,
he's out there
the
fishing.
snook was open. Did you keep the snook? Because snook was open. Isn't it? Yes, open.
Yeah,
Was it
it's open.
closed? Yeah. Did you keep the snook, Hulta?
Yeah,
Did you
keep it.
Yeah,
good.
okay.
It's a 30-inch.
Yeah, okay. That's good.
Over
That's
there
good.
is two snook by boat.
Yeah, per boat.
Okay.
Yeah. 18 to 28 to 33. So
Yeah,
you were
correct.
right in the slot.
That one
Good.
was the 30.
All right,
Good.
good.
Good deal.
All right. And we're out of time once again, but we want to thank everybody for tuning in. Don't forget to go Fishing Adventures Florida on YouTube, Waypoint, Angling TV, Carbon TV, Gen 7 Outdoors. We're on all the channels and YouTube to make it easier for you. And remember, support the captains and the ladies and the gentlemen that send us all the videos that take the time so you guys can learn more. So thank you, and we'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week, guys. Have a good week.
Goodbye.